Good morning, everyone, and welcome to High Five Live. We're so thankful to all of our friends at High Five Live that help us with this, for Pam and all her hard work, Corey and everyone else. We just thank all of you for all the things you do and the great messages you send out every single day.
That's right. We're so excited to have our guest here today. And as you get on, we would love it if you just put where you are watching from. We love to see our reach. And we welcome all of you today, and we welcome our wonderful guest, Yuri. We just met him not long ago, and he has an amazing story to share with us today.
We know you, like all of us, love stories.
Yes.
But this story is one you'll never forget. If you want to think about how personally the hand of God is in our lives and directs us, today is a perfect example of that. Right, Yuri?
Yes, for sure.
So Yuri is, well, you know what? We could talk about him, but I think we'll just let him talk about himself and tell his story and turn the time over to him.
So Yuri, you're born in Brazil and you're Italian. Now there's got to be a little something that says, what's an Italian family doing in Brazil? And you had some questions, and that's what kind of got you started. Why don't you tell us about that?
Exactly. So, like my whole family is from Italy, and like no one knew like where we came from and like why they came from Italy to Brazil. It was like really interesting. We didn't know why, and no one in the family knew it. They were like, "What the heck? Why? We should know it." And then in 2015, I started doing family history because like I would like to know like where my family came exactly from Italy and why they came and when they came to Brazil. So yes, it was basically like why I started doing family history.
What was that search like?
Amazing. Yeah, so family history. So you kind of knew what to do and where to go to locate your ancestors?
How did you find them?
Yeah, what did you do?
Yeah, it's like I remember I didn't know like anything about family history, like nothing, even like how to access family search. So I enjoyed some groups on Facebook. I watched some videos on YouTube. I had some friends that I met like in the pathway, so they started like helping me with that. And I kind of like was learning step by step, and then in the end of 2015, the same year, I started doing like in March, and about like October, November, I finally found my my Italian story, like coming to Brazil. It was amazing. Yes. So
who's the first person you found? Tell us a little about that.
okay. So my family used to think that the Italian man was my great grandfather. So it's some generations ago. But I figured out it was his grandfather. So it was like some generations further, and then um, when I found some records of my grandfather, I was like, "Oh, my great grandfather wasn't Italian. He's not Italian. He born in Brazil. So who is the Italian?" And then I found like his father, and then the Italian. He was born in 1862 in a place called Cosenza, is in the south part of Italy, and he met his wife in Brazil. She is also Italian, but they met in Brazil. They didn't know each other in Italy, and she was from the north part of Italy, from Mantova. And then yeah, that's how like my Italian like started. Like two Italians in Brazil, but they knew each other in Brazil. Like they didn't met in Italy before. It was crazy.
How does that happen? That's amazing.
Yes.
So then you're 100% Italian.
Yeah, kind of. On my mom's side, I have like other parts, but my father's side, yeah.
Yeah, so here you are, Italian, and in the middle of that wonderful search.
Mm-hmm.
You happen to find some other friends that had more to share with you than just something about your family history, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So when I was doing family history, I figured out like not just knowing like my ancestor like already that like I figured out that I had relatives like living that I didn't know, that I didn't knew they even exist. And when I figured out that, I was like, wow, so it's really powerful. And then I started like messaging people on Facebook with my same last name. And I found out a cousin living the street behind mine. So it was crazy. I was like, wow. Yeah. And I talked to her mom too. And her mom was the daughter of my great grandfather brother. So, and he was alive. So I knew him. I knew like his sister too, and I knew like I met like all the family in that side. So it was like amazing. Yes, yes. And also doing this, I met a person from São Paulo. Her name is Ingrid Zanini, and I messaged her, say, "Oh, I'm doing family history. I'm trying to find my Italian like relatives and this stuff." And she said, "Oh, okay, I'm doing family history too, and we can try to like to see if our family like match." Oh, great! And she was using family search and everything else. And then after some minutes talking, she said, "Oh, I'm a member of the church." I'm like, okay, because I knew family search was for church, but I didn't know like anything about church. So she shared her testimony about church, and she asked me my address and everything else, and she wrote some notes in the Book of Mormon for me, and she sent me the Book of Mormon, and it was my first like time of like being in touch with church. Yeah.
So, what was it like to start reading the Book of Mormon? Tell us about your process of coming into the church.
So I remember like at that time I didn't like to read too much. No, I was like, I don't like books. But when I got the Book of Mormon, like something was telling me to read that. I was feeling something that I should like open the book and start reading.
Love it.
I was like, there is something else in this book. It's not like just a book. And I started reading, but I remember once I was in my job and there was like nothing else to do. Like I have done all my tasks. And I was like, oh, I'm boring. I don't have anything to do now. And then when I opened my backpack, the Book of Mormon was there. And I remember like putting the book there. I was like, wow. Yeah. So
You got busy angels in your life.
yeah.
True.
So I got the Book of Mormon and I started reading there. And I was like in the exactly the front part of my job. It was a store, like a selling store. I was reading, and then a customer entered in, and she looked at me like reading the Book of Mormon, and she was like, "Oh my goodness, are you reading the Book of Mormon?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Is it wrong?"
Is it okay?
Yeah, is it okay to read it? And she was like, yes, but my whole family is a member of the church. I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Because she was like a customer, but we were like kind of friends. Because where I used to live, she used to work like next to my house. And where I used to work, she used to live next to my store. So it was like, when she needs something and she forgot to buy, I just could like bring her. So we were kind of friends, you know. And then she said, "Oh, my brother goes to a ward close to your house. So what do you think? Go to him in church once." And I was like, "Okay, we can try it." But I didn't know her brother. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And but like after minutes, she like 5 minutes, she got out my job, my store. Her brother messaged me saying, "Hey, let's go church this Sunday."
5 minutes later.
5 minutes later, and I was like, I think it is Sunday. I'm kind of busy. Actually, I weren't. I was just like kind of shine. I don't know. And then on Monday, like past Sunday, and then on Monday, he messaged me again and say, "Hey, let's go to some church." I was like, if I don't go to church with this guy, he's gonna mess with me for my whole life. So I should go with me. It was my first thought. Yeah. So I was like, okay, let's go to church. And then I went to church on Sunday with him, and he was amazing. He was amazing, and he was a friend. His best friend was a man called Fabian. He's the son of Tita. He's a famous soccer player in Brazil.
Hmm.
So he was like, "Oh, he's the son of Tita." I was like, "What? What is he doing here?" And then when I entered the chapel the first time, I felt something strong. I didn't know what it was. So I had two different questions. I was like, okay, there's something really truly, really strong with this church, or there's something like really wrong. Like, couldn't be other, but like, it was something. I felt something really strong. I was like, wow, I've never felt this before. And then the missionary started talking to me, and we went to it was the gospel principles, that class for new converts, right, for new members and like investigators. So I entered there, and the class was about like temple and family history.
Love it.
Yeah, just happened to be.
Yeah, I was like, oh my goodness, what is going on here? I think I got the answer of my questions right now.
That's amazing.
And I was like, wow. But and on Wednesday, the missionaries went to my house the same week, and I figured out I went to the wrong ward. It was the same chapel, but wrong ward. And then I went to a different ward. It was like mine now. And when I went there, the class was again about family history and certain ancestors. I was like, no way, no way, no way, no way.
Crazy.
Yes. So the missionary started teaching me, and it was on Wednesday, and then on Saturday I met them again, and they invited me to get baptized, like in the second lesson. And I was like, "Whew, wow,
That's fast.
yeah, it is fast." I was like, "Ooh," and uh, I was receiving the lessons alone, like my parents were receiving. I was living then, but I was receiving the lessons in a study room in the condo that we used to live. And I talked to my mom when I arrived home and said, "Hey, mom, the missionaries asked me to get baptized," and she was like, "Don't you think it's too early? Like, I think you should wait. Like, you just like manage church. Like, you don't know anything about church." I was like, "Yeah, it's true, but." And then I talked to missionaries and said, "Hey, my mom said this, and I don't know." And they said, "Just ask God. Do what James like said us to do, like James 1:5 and 1:5, and ask God like what he should do." And I was like, okay. And then I knelt close to my bed, and I prayed, and I received an answer. I received like I've heard a voice. Like I asked, "Okay, Heavenly Father, I'm here, and I don't know what to do. I don't know if it's too early, or should I get baptized now, or is it like too early, as my mom said?" And I heard a voice like asking me back, like, "What should be too early for me? Like nothing's too early for me." And I'm like, wow, someone told me it. Someone I've heard a voice like telling me that. I was like, wow, okay. So I think I have to get baptized. And then the next Sunday I got baptized.
That's wonderful. Wow.
Yes.
Oh,
So I cannot believe it. Sometimes I like start thinking about my conversion stories like, wow, the angel the angels was like around me, like guiding everything. Like it was amazing.
So true.
Mm.
And you
Yes.
made a decision fairly young in your time as a member to go on a mission. So what was that
Yeah.
like? And tell us about your mission call. That's pretty
Yeah.
unique.
So I was so excited going to the mission. My parents weren't like exactly supporting me at all, but they weren't against me too. So it was good. So I
Mm.
started going to the mission. I talked to my bishop, and he said, "Okay, so let's do it." And I started like sending the papers and documents and everything else. And there's something really interesting in that I would like to tell here. So as my parents were members and I have never prepared myself to go on a mission, I didn't have like money, like clothes, like nothing to go to a mission. And I told my bishop, okay, I don't have anything and I don't have money to buy it. My parents, maybe, but they are not like supporting me at all, like to buy everything, to pay for everything. And the bishop said, okay, no problem. And the bishop helped me to do a list with the members of my ward to like to ask them, and they like get committed to pay everything for me.
Mm.
Wow.
And my mission was
So
paid
sweet.
for the members of my ward. Like
Mm.
I received like clothes, everything, even like the mission, they did it. And when I arrived at home, my bishop said, "Hey, we don't know what to do because the members, like your mission is already done, like everything financial is already done, but the members they continue like donating to you. So like we have too much for a mission, so we're trying to like separate it." And I was like, oh, wow. So the thing is, when I got my call, I was so excited. I've prayed a lot of times asking to learn English and Italian my mission. I pray like every single day since I decided to go to a mission. Like I was praying, asking it for that. And I remember the first time that I went to the temple 1 month after I got baptized, I bought a Book of Mormon in Italian. And I read the whole Book of Mormon. And then I got my call, and my call said, actually, before that, before the great moment, the missionaries that baptized me, they were from Brazil, both of them, like different states, but both of them went to my mission call opening. So it was like an amazing, like I met them again, and it was like wonderful. The last time I was with them was my baptism, and now opening my mission call, they were there too. So it was like such a great moment. I've never
Oh,
felt.
how wonderful for them.
Yeah, but then I went to the chapel to open my mission call. The members were there, and I was like, okay, let's do it. And I opened, and I got called to serve in Italy Rome mission. Everyone was like, what? No one could believe that. They got my call from my hand to make sure it was Rome. Is it Italy? Is it serious?
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what was that like on your mission? Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, my mission was interesting because I didn't finish my mission in Italy. It was like a long story. Like I do you remember I asked God to learn English and Italian in my mission, and that's exactly what happened. It was exactly like what I've learned in my mission. So I've got to serve in Italy, and I had to go to the Provo MTC in Utah, and I was like, wow, I can understand Italian, but I can't speak because like I've read the Book of Mormon, but I didn't have anyone to practice like talking. And also, I don't speak English like at all. Like it was like too basic. So I'm gonna do it. You know, when I arrived in MTC, I couldn't understand no one. No one. I was like, oh my goodness, what I'm doing here. I mean, I came to the wrong place. I don't know. Yeah, so there is something funny. When I was on the plane, like coming to Utah, I couldn't ask for food. Like I didn't know how to ask for food. So the only thing I knew how to say it was water. So I was just drinking water the whole travel over Utah. Yeah, it was funny. Not like during that, but like after that, it was funny. So I had some like adventures with English, but the thing is, in my first week in MTC, actually my first day, I was like really afraid. I was like, okay, God, I don't think I can do it. And then I started doing a fast exactly the same night and asking for the gift of tongues. And the second day, I could understand like people like talking English. And the third day, I could like answer some stuff, like talk a little bit. And I know that in the end of the first week, I could speak English with everyone
Oh my
in
goodness.
just 1 week. I was like, wow, I know what is the gift of tongues now.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
true.
Yeah. And also with Italian, when I was like learning Italian, my third day at the MTC, the first day I didn't have lessons of Italian. It was just like a tour through the MTC and like knowing everyone. The second day we had a lesson. The third day we had to teach our instructor. And there were like some prepared questions and prepared answers to do. So it was like really easy. Just had to memorize and know how to pronounce that. And me and my companion were there. He was an American. And the instructor started asking us stuff and we start like answering like how the answers were there. And then the instructor said, like starting asking other stuff, other kind of questions. And the word just word came into my mind. And I was just like answering him, like doing a talking. A talking, a talking, a talking. And after 5 minutes, he was like, you already speak Italian. I was like, wait, what? I was like, no way. Yes. So I was the first missionary of the new MTC program that have finished the whole course, like studying English in the MTC. Studying Italian in the MTC. Because my third day, I got the last part of the language, like learning. It was the advanced handbook, and I was like, okay. And I finished the advanced handbook, and I had to do like to show feedback to my students, and they were like, wow. Yeah. So
Miracle, Yuri. I mean, I know you know that, but that's absolutely miraculous.
yes. So I went
Two
to
languages in a week and a half.
yes, it was like crazy. So it was such a big blessing because when I back to Brazil after my mission, I taught English and Italian to Brazilian because like I don't know, like I'm not like a native speaking, but I know like grammar rules. I know how to speak, and I was teaching people how to speak in English and how to speak Italian to someone else too. So it was such a great blessing. It was my job after my mission.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
Wow.
So
It's such a
after
beautiful story.
the MTC, I went to Rome, and my first area was in Palermo, which is the capital of Sicily, and and I went through a train like a front runner, and it was about 15 hours in a train through Italy. It's a long path. But the thing is, one of the stations was exactly the city where my ancestors were born.
Oh my goodness.
So I passed for their city. It was I didn't stop there like exactly like going around, but I stopped there like and I looked at the city and I was like, wow. Yes,
That's a miracle.
yeah. So I just served in Italy for about 4 or 5 months. There I had kidney stones. Like the water there wasn't that good for me. Like my body didn't like exactly the water there. Before my mission, I had some kidney stones problems already, so there I had again. and I had to back to Brazil to do a treatment, and I got reassigned to São Paulo East mission. So that's where I finished my mission. Yeah, but God like gave me what I asked.
English, Italian, Brazilian, Portuguese. Why not?
Exactly.
Miracle. Oh, Yuri, you're a miracle.
That's right. Tell us about meeting your beautiful wife then.
Oh, it's a really interesting story. Before my mission, I met her in the institute in Rio, and it was like just some months before going on mission. It was, I think, in February, something like that. Yes, February 2018, I met her. Like I've seen her sometimes, but I didn't talk to her exactly. So in February, I started talking to her. At the beginning, I was a friend of her sister, and I went to her sister's birthday, and that's how I exactly like met her. So there in the institute, like every Saturday, we used like to go to the institute and like study. And we used to love like cooking together. Like we were really friends. We got really friends. But we decided like to don't have anything before our missions, because like going to be like really like miss each other. So yeah, so we decided like to just like don't date or do anything like before our mission. So I remember when I received my call, I had to wait 6 months to go to my mission because I had to got 2 different visas. So it was like a long time the process. So Livia sent her call after I received my call. And she got her call back, she opened, and she went to her mission 1 month before me. It was crazy. But anyways, so after our mission, we met again, and she was at the airport waiting for me. So it was beautiful. And after 1 week, we started dating. After we started dating in November 2020. November 2020. So November, December. 4 months in March of 2021, I asked her to marry me, and in November we got married, and now we're here.
Not too long ago.
Yeah, not too long ago.
That is such a beautiful story. Think of all the blessings that have come into your life because of your membership in the church.
Yes, yes.
And now
So-
here you are studying. Tell us about going to college.
Yeah, so during the process, like dating and getting married and everything else, I was also applying to study at Inline College in Salt Lake City. So it was like I was like working, studying for, because as an international student, I had to take like some exams to apply for Inline College, like TOEFL, like English exam. I had to write an essay. So I had to prepare myself, like study, teach, and like getting married, like everything like at the same time. So my life was crazy. Like I didn't have like exactly to think about my life. So I applied to study software engineering in college, and they accepted me. And yeah, now I'm here.
Yeah, and you
I
started out with
came-
Pathway, right?
Sorry.
You did Pathway.
Yes, I studied Pathway, but just for 1 semester. I didn't
Mhm.
finish it because I didn't have time to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, but what a
Okay.
blessing Pathway is to so many, right?
Yes, Pathway helps like a lot, like coming to our university, even like BYU Idaho or Inline College. It helps a lot, like because you can practice your English skills as an international student. You can meet people. You can learn a lot of things. So Pathway was a blessing in my life. So unfortunately, I had just 1 semester. But Livia is just finishing Pathway. She's in her last semester in Pathway, and she loves it. It's amazing. It's an amazing program.
It is an amazing program. And so you are studying software engineering.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yes.
wonderful.
Yes. Yesterday was my second day of class, so
Yes.
it was so
And here you are doing this for us. Thank you.
You're a perfect example of President Nelson's invitation that says, gather Israel on both sides of the veil. You love family history, you've done miracles, and through that miracle, Heavenly Father's brought you eternal blessings beyond what we can even comprehend. It would be beautiful for you to share your testimony in closing. And if you want to say something in Italian or Portuguese or
Please do.
English or whatever you want to say, you know so many languages, go ahead.
Okay, for sure. So I just like to bear my testimony that I know that Heavenly Father like leads each one of us. He's not just like looking to everyone and let us lead our lives, but He's leading each one of us. I know Jesus Christ lives, and I know that President Nelson is a living prophet. Eu sei que Jesus Cristo vive, que o presidente Nelson é um profeta de Deus. Eu sei que o Pai Celestial, ele guia cada um de nós. Ele tem um plano específico para cada um de nós. Não é algo para todo mundo. E eu só que Jesus Cristo lui vive, só que lui è il capo di questa chiesa, só che Presidente Nelson è un profeta di Dio e che Padre Celeste guida ognuno di noi qua in questa vita. And I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
Thank
Yuri, can I
you.
ask you just
You're
one
welcome. Sorry?
How do you think your ancestors feel about this process you've been on?
How I think what? Sorry?
Your ancestors feel about the fact
Oh.
that you're
I think they are really glad, but also kind of proud of me, I think.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
I mean, they're like really happy. They're glad. They are like, I don't know. I think it's like a lot of feelings because I could like get in touch with them, like not like in person exactly, but I knew them and I could like kind of meet them and getting know like my family better. And I think they had like a hand in this whole process, like putting me a desire to learn about my Italian ancestors and how to like it guided me to the gospel. And
totally.
yes.
That's what I feel too. That I can hear him cheering today. That's why I asked that
Yes,
question.
I'm sure
I can hear
heaven
your
is
ancestors
so
for
happy.
years back there cheering and saying, "Yuri, yay!"
Yay. Oh,
We say yay too.
and I just wanted to add here too, it was difficult for you at the beginning to know what to do to find your ancestors. And I just want to throw this out there that there is a free site called The Family History Guide. Those 4 words. It's totally free. You can just put those 4 words into your browser. And it helps with everything in searching for your ancestors and getting to know them and knowing what to do next to fill out your family tree. So check that out, audience. It's a real blessing. And Yuri, we are just so grateful for you sharing your story with us today.
And the Family History Guide actually translates into Italian
Yeah,
and Portuguese.
that's right.
And Zulu, just in case you want to learn Zulu this week. Thanks, Yuri, so much. We sure love you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. I'm so
Thanks,
glad
everyone.
for
Have a
that.
great day.
You
Share this with
too.
everyone you know. It's such an inspiring story.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.